Hello, great people. It's awesome to have you here today. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be a very rich time out learning together. My name is Enobong, Ekarika, and we are discussing on the topic, leadership is not about your job title. We are looking at the fact that leadership is actually beyond job titles. Are you ready, my dear friends, for this awesome time of learning, this great learning opportunity, this great learning experience? You're highly welcome. So right now, like we said, we are looking at leadership is not about your job title. Unveiling the essence of true leadership. Unveiling the true essence of leadership. Now, let's also look at this. We said most times we look at our leaders, our bosses as the real leaders. But today we are going to see that it's not about being a boss. It's not about being the head of the team. It's not about being the president, the governor. It is about every one of us. That's why we are going to unveil the true essence of leadership today. Let's quickly look at it. Let's rethink leadership. Because just like we said, leadership transcends job titles. Leadership is also a set of qualities and actions. It's not just a position. And take note, anyone can be a leader, irrespective of their position, irrespective of their official title. Take note of that. And when we say leadership transcends job titles, what do we mean? We are just trying to let you know that the traditional notion of, about leadership, which makes it seem exclusive to job titles or organizational hierarchies, is not it. Leadership goes beyond organizational hierarchies. True leadership actually extends beyond these constraints and is not confined to a particular job role, okay? It's not confined to a particular rank. And that means that since leadership transcends job title, we need to acknowledge that leadership is a universal concept. And it always allows us to recognize potential leaders in unexpected places. That's why we say rethinking leadership. Acknowledge. We should come to realize that leadership is a universal concept which allows us to recognize potential leaders in unexpected places. Now, let's quickly look at the second point that says it's a set of qualities and actions, not just a position. What do we mean by that? Leadership is not merely a position, on an organizational chart. It's a dynamic set of qualities and actions. And possessing the title of a leader does not guarantee effective leadership. It's the manifestation of key attributes and behaviors that truly defines a leader. Therefore, it's important that understanding and fostering these qualities can always empower individuals at all levels to do what? Contribute meaningfully to a team or organization. Therefore, remember again, as we are rethinking leadership, it's a set of qualities and actions, not just a position. And like we said earlier, leadership transcends job titles. And also note, the third point here says anyone can be a leader, regardless of their official title. What do we mean by that? Anyone can be a leader regardless of their official title. It means that leadership is inclusive and open to individuals at every level of an organization. Whether you're the MD, the accountant, the cleaner, the gatekeeper, the security, leadership is inclusive and it's open to individuals at every level of an organization. Leadership is not about the position one holds, but rather the impact that one has on others and the organization as a whole. Let me take that again. Leadership is not about the position one holds, but rather leadership is about the impact that one has on others and the organization as a whole. Then note, we say rethinking leadership and why anyone can be a leader regardless of the official title. When you recognize and encourage leadership potential in everyone, we actually create a culture, that values diverse contributions and promotes a collaborative and empowered workforce. So let's take it again. Leadership transcends job titles. Leadership is a set of qualities and actions, not just a position. And anyone can be a leader regardless of their official title. So, rethinking leadership challenges us to move beyond conventional structures, move beyond preconceived notions, and do what? Embrace a perspective, embrace the mindset where leadership is accessible to all, fostering a culture of what? Empowerment, collaboration, and innovation. Are we following? Now let's look at the next point. What is leadership? Let's define leadership. What is leadership? What is leadership? Please put it in the chat room what you understand by leadership. Put in the chat room what do you understand by leadership. Now, let me quickly define leadership. Leadership is the ability to inspire, to influence and guide others. I will explain them one after the other, but let's just look at the key points. Leadership is the ability to inspire, ability to influence and guide others. It involves taking initiative, responsibility, and making impactful decisions. And leadership is a behavioral attribute and is not confined to a specific role. Let's take each of these 3 points, one after the other. We are defining leadership. We say leadership is the ability to inspire, to influence, and to guide others. Now, at its core, leadership is a capability, the capacity to inspire individuals, to influence their perspective, their concept, their mindset, and guide them towards common objective. Which means that true leaders actually cultivate what? A sense of purpose. They cultivate a sense of motivation among their team members, which brings about fostering a shared vision that propels the entire group forward. Remember, we define leadership as what? The ability to inspire, influence, and guide others. The second definition of leadership is that leadership involves taking initiative, responsibility, and making impactful decisions. Yes, true leaders are proactive individuals who take the initiative to address challenges and seize opportunities. Leaders actually embrace responsibilities for their actions and decisions, understanding that their choices have a direct impact on the team and the organization. And please note, effective leaders are not afraid to make tough decisions when required, as long as the long-term benefits will overshadow the short-term discomfort. Let me repeat myself. Effective leaders are not afraid to make tough decisions when required, because they know that considering the long-term benefits, it will always overshadow the short-term discomfort. Now let's look at the third point. The third definition of leadership. Leadership is a behavioral attribute, not confined to a specific role. Leadership is a behavioral attribute, not confined to a specific role. What do you mean by that? Leadership is not solely determined by one's job title or position within an organization. It's actually a collection of, behaviors, attitudes, and skills that can be developed and displayed. Why? By who? By individuals at any level. We said it's a collection of behaviors, it's a collection of attributes, collection of attitudes, collection of skills that can be developed and displayed by individuals at any level. Now let's look at a janitor. Let's look at a cleaner. Let's look at a security man. Let's look at the manager. Let's look at the accountant. You can mention whatever role you can think of in an organization. They all have the potential to exhibit leadership qualities. Why? How? By demonstrating initiative, fostering collaboration, and actually contributing positively to the workplace. Let's take this away too. In defining leadership, it goes beyond a job description. Can we read this together? Defining leadership goes beyond a job description. It actually encompasses a spectrum of actions and qualities. What are we talking about? Leaders inspire and guide. They take initiative and responsibility and operate as behavioral role models. And that means that by understanding leadership in this holistic way, we empower individuals to do what? Embody leadership qualities, thereby contributing to a more resilient and adaptive organizational culture. Very, very important. Now, let's look at misconceptions about leadership. Misconceptions about leadership. Misconception about leadership. Now, just like we said earlier, contrary to common misconceptions, leadership is not restricted to those holding high-ranking positions. Okay? Now, let's look at common myths. What are the common myths? What are the common misconceptions about leadership? I will give you up to 20, even though right now I have about 8 on the slide, but we are going to talk on not less than 20 myths, misconceptions about leadership. Now, the number one misconception is what? Can you read it after me? Can someone write it down in the chat box? We will look at the myth and the realities. Myth means that something is not real. It's just how do I put it now? Just a wrong mindset, wrong thoughts. We look at myth and realities. Myth 1 says that leadership is reserved for top executives. But the reality is that leadership is not confined to corner offices or executive suites. It's actually a quality that is found at all levels of an organization, because everyone has the potential to be a leader, regardless of their job title. Leadership is about actions, not just positions. I believe you got that. I've talked about the myth and the reality. Now let's look at myth 2, and we'll look at the reality in this case too. Myth 2 says that only those with authority can lead. Myth 2 says only those with authority can lead. But I want to let you know that the reality is that leadership is not solely about having a title or formal authority. True leaders can emerge from any role. Why? Because leadership is about influence, it's about inspiration, it's about the ability to guide others positively. Though authority may provide a platform, but leadership is aimed through actions and respect. Let's look at myth 3. Another lie, common lie about leadership is that leadership is about giving orders. I believe you can see number 3. It says leadership is about giving orders. It's actually a myth. The reality is that leadership is not synonymous with commanding orders. While leaders may provide direction, effective leadership involves collaboration, communication, and empathy. Effective leadership is actually about working together, understanding the diverse perspective, and motivating others to achieve common goals. And like we said, remember myth 1 that said leadership is reserved for the top, and we've been able to debunk it, that leadership can be displayed at any level within an organization. Leadership is about influence, not just a job title. The second myth we talked about was that only those with authority can lead. But remember, we mentioned the reality. The reality is that leadership is not solely dependent on formal authority. It's actually earned through actions, respect, and the ability to inspire others. Myth 3, the third lie, common lie that people have about leadership is that leadership is about giving orders. But the reality is that true leadership involves collaboration, effective communication, and empathy, not just issuing commands. Let's look at myth 4. Myth 4 says leaders are born. So the myth 4 here is that leaders are born, not made. It's actually a lie that leaders are born. The reality here is that leadership skills can be developed and refined over time through what? Learning, experience, and self-awareness. That means that it is a lie, it is a myth that leaders are born, not made. Okay? Leadership can always be developed and refined over time through learning experience, through life experience, through self-awareness. Another myth about leadership is that leadership is a solo endeavor. That leadership is a solo endeavor is a myth. The reality is that effective leaders understand the importance of what? Teamwork, collaboration, and leveraging the strengths of others. Effective leadership is not a one-man show. It's about understanding the importance of teamwork, collaboration, and leveraging the strength of others. Another myth about leadership is that leaders have all the answers. They say leaders have all the answers. Now, the reality is that leaders may not have all the answers. Instead, they are skilled at asking the right questions, seeking input, and making informed decisions. Okay? The next myth we are going to look at is a myth that leadership is about being charismatic. It's a myth that leadership is about being charismatic. The reality is that while charisma can be a trait, leadership is more about authenticity, integrity, and building genuine connections. Okay? Another myth that is stated here clearly is that leaders have all the answers. It's actually a myth. Okay? We look at the reality. We look at the reality of that. But before we talk about that, one other myth is that leadership and management are the same. No. The reality is that leadership and management are distinct. Leadership focuses on inspiring and guiding, while management involves planning and organizing. Now let's look at another myth. Leaders must be extroverted. Leaders must be extroverted. It's a myth. Why do we say so? It's because introverts can be effective leaders too. And leadership is about leveraging one's strength regardless of personality type. It's about leveraging, one's strength regardless of personality types. Then another myth here, which I have not stated in the slide, people say leadership guarantees popular approval. It's a myth when we believe that leadership guarantees, popular approval. The reality is that leaders may make tough decisions that aren't universally popular, but effective leadership involves doing what is right for the team or organization, even if it's not always popular. Now, let's look at more misconceptions. Another misconception is that leadership is all about taking credit. That is a big misconception. It's a myth. The reality is that effective leaders often share credit with their teams, and that leadership involves recognizing and celebrating the contribution of others. Okay? Another myth, a misconception about leadership is that it requires a dominant personality. It's actually a myth. Because the reality is that leadership comes in various styles. Introverted or reserved individuals can demonstrate strong leadership through thoughtful decision-making and strategic thinking. Okay? Another myth about leadership people have about leadership is that leadership is time-consuming and distracts from real work. That is a myth and is not true. Leadership, the reality is that leadership is an integral part of achieving organizational goals. It actually involves guiding and empowering others, which contribute to the overall success of the team or company. Let's look at two more myths. We have a lot more. Okay, let me take 2 or 3 more myths or misconception about leadership. Another misconception here is that leadership is only relevant in the workplace. It's a misconception because the reality is that leadership extends beyond professional settings. It can be applied in community groups. It can be applied in volunteer organizations. It can be applied even within families. That means that leadership is not only relevant in the workplace, as is misbelieved. Another myth is that leaders should always be confident and unwavering. It's a myth, it's a misconception. The reality is that authentic leaders admit when they don't have all the answers and they are open to feedback, which shows that vulnerability and humility, they are key aspects of effective leadership. Let's look at another myth, another misconception about leadership, and that is that leadership means never making mistakes. That's a big myth. It's a big misconception to assume that leadership means never making mistakes. The reality is that leaders, like everyone else, make mistakes. But what sets them apart is their ability to learn from the errors, adapt, and guide their teams through challenges. Now, we will pause at the next myth. The next myth I'll talk about is that it's a misconception when people think that leadership is only for older, experienced individuals. It's a misconception to think of that. Leadership can be displayed at any age. Please take note of the reality. Leadership can be displayed at any age. It means that young individuals with innovative ideas and a strong work ethic can actually exhibit exceptional leadership qualities. I hope we've been able to learn a lot about the misconceptions, the common myth about leadership, and the reality. Now, what are the traits of leadership? What are the attributes of leadership? Okay? What are the core traits of a leader? We'll look at the below core traits of a leader. Number one here is integrity. We'll look at 3. We'll look at 4. 4 core traits of a leader. They're not limited to this particular number. Okay? The core traits are integrity, communication, empathy, and initiative. The core traits we are talking about here are what? Integrity. Okay? Communication, empathy, and initiative. Now, integrity means that you lead with honesty and moral character. Communication means that effectively conveying ideas and actively listening. And empathy is understanding and connecting with others. Then, what do we mean by initiative? Initiative is taking proactive steps to drive positive change. Taking proactive steps to drive positive change. So when we say integrity, leaders prioritize honesty and moral character. That means that integrity builds trust within a team and establishes a foundation for ethical decision making. Then communication. Leaders actually excel in expressing ideas and actively listening. Explanation of this is that effective communication fosters a shared understanding. It minimizes misunderstandings and strengthens cohesion within an organization, within a group. Then the next attribute, the next trait of a good leader is actually empathy. Leaders understand and connect with the emotion of others. Why? Because empathy creates a supportive environment. It enhances collaboration and demonstrates genuine concern for team members. Now, the 4th core trait of a leader is taking proactive steps to initiative, which is taking proactive steps to drive change. Taking proactive steps to drive change. It means that initiative drives progress. Taking initiative encourages problem solving and it ensures a proactive approach to challenges. Another core attribute of leadership is, which I have not itemized here, is actually resilience. Leaders bounce back from setback and they remain steadfast. That means that resilience is crucial for overcoming obstacles, inspiring the team during tough times, and maintaining a positive work environment. Let's look at another core attribute of leadership, is adaptability. Leaders embrace change and adjust to new circumstances, and that makes adaptability to allow leaders to navigate changes in environment, promote flexibility and innovation within the team. Another core attribute of leaders is decision making. Another one is vision. Another one is courage. Another attribute is collaboration. That means we should take note of this. that leadership traits encompass a range of qualities from personal integrity to collaborative skills, and developing these traits enhances your ability to lead effectively, and this will create a positive and dynamic impact on both the team and the organization. Let's quickly look at leading by example. Leading by example. Leading by example. Take note, I love this. Actions speak louder than titles. Leading by example. Actions speak louder than titles. Actions speak louder than titles. Now, how does action speak louder than title? When you demonstrate commitment to goals by your action, it shows that you're a leader. When you're a role model for desired behavior, it shows you're a leader. When you inspire others through personal dedication and work ethic, it shows you're a leader. So always remember this. Action speaks louder than titles. Action speaks louder than title. Always remember this is shown by demonstrating commitment to goals, by being a role model for desired behavior, by inspiring others through personal dedication, by maintaining a positive work ethic, by taking responsibility for mistakes, by encouraging collaboration and teamwork, by supporting professional growth. You see that leaders invest in the development of their team members. Supporting professional growth demonstrates commitment to individual success, fostering loyalty and dedication. Another thing is that communicating effectively and transparently, and leaders always adhere to ethical standard. Other attributes of great leadership is that they celebrate team achievement. So leading by example is a powerful leadership approach, but because it transcends job titles. Actions more than words influence and inspire others. Because by empowerment, whenever we embody the values and behaviors that people wish to see, leaders create an environment where everyone is motivated and they can contribute their best. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time together. I believe we have been able to see conclusively that leadership is about every level of the job. That leadership is not just a mindset. That leadership is a title, not just a mindset. Leadership is a title, not just a mindset. So thank you so much for your time. I believe you've all had a great time together. We look forward to more time learning together, more time growing and becoming better leaders for our country, our places of work, our families, and anything we actually do. We appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. Please drop your questions in the comment section. And we'll attend to them all. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Enobong, Ekarika, and I will let you know, just reminding you once again, that I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. It takes leaders. It takes the capabilities of being a leader to actually stay through this class. You have done it, and you're a winner. I congratulate you, and we look forward to seeing you at the top. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful morning, a wonderful evening, wherever you are in any part of the world. Thank you, and remain blessed. Bye-bye.